Hi, I'm Liana Chua. Come in.
Tell me what, Catz.
I teach social anthropology at the university, and in college I'm a postgraduate tutor and also one of the directors of studies in human, social and political sciences. So I come in here quite a lot to, do my regular research and teaching. One of the lovely things about this room, obviously, is that it's got very high ceilings and it's got a fantastic view of Main Court, which means that it's a really, really nice space for meeting people in general, but also having supervision. So very often, if I'm having a single supervision with a student, they get a nice comfy chair over there, which is nice. I often have group supervisions where people just sort of cluster around the table. One thing you might also notice is that I have a lovely whiteboard. It's very big. I don't actually use it very much, but as you can see, it does happen occasionally. And every now and then, I find that this space turns into a child sitting place because I've got two children who have basically colonized a whole corner of my whiteboard. I really like having this picture in my study. You can see it very well when I'm on Zoom calls. And it's basically a collage that the college commissioned some years ago to mark the admission of Tunku Abdul Rahman to St. Catherine's as an undergraduate to study law in 1922. So the Tunku is famous because he became the first Prime Minister of Malaysia some years after he left Catz. And so he's one of our most famous alumni. The Malaysian government set up a fund called the Tunku Fund that's lodged here in Catz to create scholarships for talented Malaysian students studying for postgraduate degrees in the arts and humanities and social sciences. So we've had about 30 Tunku scholars pass through our college's doors at this point, and I have the great privilege and pleasure of being the director of the Tunku Fund here in Catz. So I really like having this picture of the Tunku right here, just to remind me of our connections with Malaysia and also of the many, many students that we've managed to support over the past 20 years. So this is another of my favorite objects. It was given to me by a lady in my PhD field site in Malaysian Borneo, where I've worked for over 20 years now with an indigenous ethnic group called the Bidayu, looking at experiences of religious conversion, ethnic politics, development and also environmental change. So it's a rattan basket. It's made with great skill. As you can see, it's very, very finely woven, really quite beautiful. And it's also quite importantly the sort of thing that people give to each other in the village as a sort of token of their relationships with each other. So when I left the village after my main stint of PhD fieldwork about 20 years ago, I got lots and lots of these baskets and other similar small items. And what people would often say to me is, with this object, you'll be able to remember me even though we're far, far away and may not see each other for many more years. So I really like having just kind of little objects like these, from my field site just to remind me of where I could go back to at some point. And I do try to go back to Borneo as often as possible, and to remind me of my friends and interlocutors in a really important part of the world to me. After working with Bidayus and looking at their experiences of environmental change for a very long time, I decided to switch focus slightly and zoom out a little bit and look at the social, political and cultural dimensions of orangutan conservation, which is of course a huge sector that has really reshaped indigenous lives and landscapes right across Borneo and also in neighbouring Sumatra. So over the past several years, I've been working with a number of PhDs and postdocs on a couple of projects on various aspects of orangutan conservation, hence this handsome guy over here. And one of the things that I'm most excited about is the way that we've also tried to use our work and our research insights to help shape the way that orangutan conservation is engaged with local communities on the ground. And we're basically trying to give them the tools and the awareness and the insights to improve their social engagement with these communities so that, in the end, both humans and orangutans can live safely and happily in the same forests. So this is not my book, unfortunately, but it was given to me because I was one of a number of people who was consulted in the writing of this book on the social dimensions of orangutan conservation.